Hello team. All right, so I'm going to be doing the adult lesson for you guys for this week. So the adult training lesson, junior black belts, you can follow along too. I just want to make sure everybody is familiar with the movements we do. So this is going to be a little bit more adult, kind of centric and geared towards you guys. And we're going to start your workout with a warm-up because warm-ups are important. And we're going to do a few that I recommend. And then we're going to get into something that most of you probably haven't done before. Give you a little opportunity to do some self-practicing at home, which is, one of the important tenets of martial arts, practicing. So warm-up wise, here's what I suggest. Get your phone, set your timer between 3 and 5 minutes, no less than 3, no more than 5. The idea of a warm-up, like we always talk about in classes, you want to get the heart rate up a little bit, right? And if you break a light sweat, that's how you kind of hit that zone where your muscles are a little more pliable, the blood's flowing, and you're feeling good. So I would recommend just starting off with some, basic cardio moves, and I'll go through them with you. Coach Kyle, Mr. Nicker are just going to kind of follow along with me so you can see how to model those movements. So let's just start with some jumping jacks. So I would suggest you start with jumping jacks, regular standard jumping jacks. And then, you can switch from your jumping jacks to your seal jacks, making sure we cross at the elbows, cross at the knees, keeping our elbows or our arms parallel with the floor. And then we can just do our switches, right? So we got some switches like this. And we would do those for a little bit longer, and then we just start doing your bouncing. Like we're always kind of working on staying on the balls of the foot, throwing out nice light jabs. Nothing has to be like really precise and powerful. We're just trying to actually stay more loose than tight. So we're loosening up, and then you just work other side, just keep everything balanced out. Of course you can, go side to side and work punches to the center like we often do. Or you can just go back to the jab and then follow with the cross. So you employ both arms with every movement, right? And then just bounce it side to side a little bit. Anything to start to get your heart rate up. And then jogging in place is great too, right? So there's nothing wrong with doing some simple exercise, right? Jogging in place is really good because it gets the heart rate up, and then you can challenge yourself. So hands behind, and we do heel kicks. So, you're stretching out the quads, and then you do high knees. And you're focusing on engaging the hip flexors, the calves. So you're gonna kind of just do like a little bit of circuit work, doing those exercises, 3 to 5 minutes. But then we're gonna do a couple stretches. So here's what I recommend. Number 1, legs go wide. And we focus on like hamstrings and groin a lot because that's our kicking muscles. So we bend at the waist, knees go straight and go down. And then I'll have you guys go like side to side. So go to your right side. Yes, sir. Go to your left side, and just, kind of hang down to the middle a little bit more. Walk your hands back, loosen it up. I like to come out of that position with bent knees, and we got to rock on the inside with our elbows. Keep that kind of tension on there at the same time as we're challenging the muscles and loosening them at the same time. And I'm a big proponent of active stretching, so I like to do leg raises. So if you guys want to do some leg raises, we kind of just focus on starting light and swinging. And you guys can probably swing higher and higher. By the time you get to like 10 on each leg, you'll be higher and higher. So I'm a big proponent of the active stretching as well. Another one I like to do, which is good for adults, if you go down to like a push-up position and you kind of stack one foot and you just kind of like rock back on that calf a little bit, really stretches out the calf and the Achilles. You can rock back like this. We can start in a push-up position, step up to our front hand, open the opposite hand up to really like open up the whole chest, and down. Then we go back and we step up, and we come up and we stretch and come down. So I think between 3 to 5 minutes, you'll be fine with your warm up for there. So here's our challenge for you guys. Think of this as like the first half of this week, and then we'll put some more stuff in for you guys as we go along. And I'm gonna have all the adults perform this for your next stripe test and belt test. When we get back to the dojo, you have to learn this. So the sensei team's gonna be looking for this. It's called blocking set. And it's a little bit more of the traditional aspect of the martial arts. We focus on a lot of modern martial arts skills in the classroom. Traditional martial arts involved a lot of self-practice, right? Think about, if you go back to, Okinawa, when martial arts were kind of starting, it was illegal to practice. You weren't even allowed to train martial arts. They thought it was a threat to the government. You couldn't have weapons, you couldn't train martial arts. So they kind of did it in secrecy, and they practiced alone. And the first thing they did was they practiced on blocking. So most of the blocking that we do in class relates around sparring and like boxing applicable skills. And then traditional blocks kind of like accentuate movements away from the body. And that's what we're going to focus on. So grab a horse stance for yourself. We're going to sit in a horse stance, And a horse stance is when your feet are square, your knees are slightly bent, your back is straight. It's designed to just represent sitting on a horse, right? You don't have to go really low where your quads are parallel with the floor, but you don't want to have locked legs either. You want to represent sitting on a horse with some stress in the quads. And we're going to practice from this position, but I'm going to help you guys learn the blocks first. So you can come out of your stance. An inward block is a block that moves towards your center line. So if you take your right hand up, fist outside of your ear, and you bring it inward and across your center line, that'll be an inward block. Opposite hand, inward and across. Opposite hand, inward and across. And it wants to be above the line of the eyes and across the middle of your body. If I stop in the middle, it has no effect on a straight coming toward my body, so I have to be able to cross the center line. Cross the center line. So that would be inward block. An outward block would be exactly the opposite, right? You would start by having your arm in a downward position, and it would circle out and away. Out and away. Out and away. Out and away. And for detail, that's called a vertical outward block, because from a profile position, if you see the outward block, it's a vertical position as opposed to an extended outward block where the fist is extended beyond the elbow. So for now, we're inward, inward, outward, outward. All right, so the next block is upward. So an upward block travels upward like an uppercut. When it breaks the line of the eyes, it turns and finishes above the head with the fist higher than the elbow to create this angle of deflection. And then the left hand would travel up the center line, break the line of the eyes, rotate and turn outward. Up, 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 up. So we have in, out, up. We're left with down. So downward is like this. I have to cross my center line. So I bring my right hand to my opposite shoulder and I hammer down and away. And then my left hand comes to my opposite shoulder, hammer down and away. And we can make that as a touch and go, or we can circle over our eye line, boom, and work our downward blocks. So we'll start in a horse stance, chamber your hands, and we'll work it like this, and here's how we'll practice. We'll go right hand inward, cross the center line. Left hand inward, cross the center line. Right hand outward, cross. Left hand outward, across. Right hand upward, traveling, angle of deflection. Left hand upward. Right hand, remember to either touch, circle across the opposite arm, track down to the downward block with the right. Left arm circles, tracks down with the left. Now when we put this together in what we call a kata, and most of the kids are familiar with katas, right? Kata means form, and form means posture. So in the Japanese origins, our form and our posture was important, and there was a lot of respect tied into the katas. So they would start like this. Hands, feet together in our attention position, shows focus and concentration. So we bow, right? Courtesy. And then we step into a horse stance, and when we step into a horse stance, traditionally, we only move one leg, and it's our left foot. So we step aside with our left. We bring our right hand up as a fist and we cover with our left hand. So from here, this is how we open, and then we chamber our hands. We pull them back and we go inward, inward, outward, outward, upward, upward, downward, downward. Come back to that closed position. Now, just as we opened with our left, we now close with our left. And we bow out, we step to position. All right, so I'm going to challenge Coach Kyle, Mr. Nick, for the performances now. So here's what you're going to be able to perform for us. You're going to hands to step, and you're going to bow, courtesy. Step to the left with your horse stance and cover fist. Right. Now, I'm going to have them chamber their hands, and we'll go in, out, out, up, up, down, down. And then close again, circle, bow, and position. So I would imagine this is new for you. You guys never even did this, right? Yes, sir. So Coach Kyle and Mr. Nick have never done that. So you could see they still had a little bit of hesitation, right? So as you're practicing at home, you know, challenge yourself to practice over and over. I'm going to do it again with them behind me, and we're going to see who does it better. All right, hands, feet set, courtesy, step out, fist cover, chamber your hands, and go. In, out, out, up, up, down, down. Fist cover, circle set, courtesy, and finish. All right, everybody, so that's your work, okay? Adult team, learn that, memorize it, work on being tight, work on being strong, work on being crisp, accurate. Make sure that you feel confident in your movements. I'll check back in with you later in the week. Post a video of yourself doing this, and you know, let's really enhance and get the skills up to the level we need them. When you guys get back to the dojo, promotion time's coming. All right, look for our next video. Stay tuned.